So today I was able to sit down with CEO and co-founder of SkinTē, Bassima, who has worked for a host of big name companies, and she really spoke about how having such a diverse background has really propelled her into the entrepreneurial world. However, it didn't just stop there. She did not do this alone. She combined with one woman with a medical background, another woman with a culinary background, and essentially they were able to curate SkinTē, which has a host of beneficial ingredients, one of them being collagen. Now, I don't know about you, I thought I knew what collagen was, but apparently I was only scratching the surface. And Bassima gave me a 101, pretty much a lecture, I will call it. And so I think after this, I'll be an expert, you'll be an expert, they're already the experts. And now, officially, as of this episode, the product is now available in over 1,000 stores. So definitely check it out and find it on some shelves near you. So without further ado, enjoy episode 117, A Healthy Collaboration. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner. Look, I'm excited. The year is almost over. We're in a new month. A lot of content has been dropping. We've had a lot of announcements. I know I've been overloading y'all on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. So I appreciate y'all keeping up with us. But, we really cannot stop. I'm very excited to be sitting down with this young lady today, Bassima. Man, I was very happy when I was reached out to her. This is the first interview that I've actually done via the Guestio platform. So for those of my people out there who don't know or not podcasters, not really in that space, Guestio is honestly a very dope platform for, scheduling interviews, meeting other creatives, entrepreneurs, like-minded individuals. I've seen a lot of partnerships come as a result of that. But essentially what I did was I set up a profile. I talked about, myself on there, put my personal, but I also put the podcast on there, put a little bit about us, what we do, my scheduling link and everything like that. And essentially I have opened myself up to an array of entrepreneurs, business owners, creatives, just some very dope individuals. I found myself when I first made it, just almost scrolling into a dark hole, just clicking on profiles, getting bios, trying to figure out what was what. But essentially, it also allows these business owners, creatives, these entrepreneurs to also reach out to you to see what you have going on, to book you, to schedule some time. So when I was able to kind of talk to her and her booking agent and everything like that, we were able to get this situated. We were able to make this happen. I'm very excited for this one in particular because I have tried to use Guestio in the past, and unfortunately, my interviewees did not show up. So you were here. I'm glad that you were the first person to break that ice, to take the cake. So very excited. So one, how is everything? How are you doing?
Thanks for asking. It's rare that people just sit down and say, how are you? It's a great question. Well, it just so happens to be a wonderful day because I just got news that we got into 1,000 stores. I can't announce the account yet. It's not always like this. It's a roller coaster being an entrepreneur, but I'll take it. This has been a beautiful day, and it was right before I was going to get on with you. So it's good luck.
Oh, so that's how that's a great way to lead into the interview. I love that. So one, congratulations. That's amazing. Even being in one store is amazing. Multiply that by 1,000. That's even more amazing. So very excited to even talk a little bit more about that for what you can reveal. But, I understand that with this interview, we're going to have a host of different people. We're going to have people from my side on Down to Business. We're going to have people from your side, and we're going to have people far and in between, who may not know anything about either one of us. So one, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? And then two, can you just tell us what brings you on the Down to Business podcast today?
Sure, of course. So my name is Bassima, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of SkinTē. I was actually born in the US, but raised in West Africa, in Côte d'Ivoire, and then in Canada, and then made my way back to the US. So I kind of consider myself a global citizen. I've been very lucky to work at a lot of different companies, from Nike, where I learned so much, and Spanx for Sarah Blakely, and ultimately being able to start my own company. So it's been an incredible journey. And, the reason we started SkinTē real quickly is, we were 3 female founders who had all been going through really big challenges in our lives. And I had major health issues when I left Nike. And one of my co-founders lost a daughter at 2. And the third one was newly divorced. So I can talk a little bit more later about that. But I really have found that it's in those moments when you feel like everything's crashing that somehow something really beautiful, comes out of it. And I feel like that's been a theme in my life as well.
I love that. I love, sometimes it's very hard to make the most out of a situation, especially a situation that, was almost a downfall for you, was a trial or a tribulation, was something that really impacted you in a negative manner. But to, one, go through that, but then grow through that, but then reflect on that and still use that to motivate and want to impact and be what you are and be that creative, man, I think that is amazing. So, and one, just your background, your extensive background in itself, it just speaks a lot of volumes and just a lot of experience and just how you have different expertise. And I think that's important. It's so nowadays, man, you really have to be a Swiss Army knife, whether you're a nine to five or
Yeah,
a business owner,
totally.
whatever you do. I feel like, you want to do what you do, of course, do it well, but you also want to have so many different skill sets. You don't just want to be content with one thing, or just nothing wrong with focusing on one thing, mastering a skill on one thing or anything like that. But the more that you have, the more tools, the more versatile, the more accessible that you can be, the more useful in the sense that you can be. So I understand that you said you do have two other women founders with you, and that y'all were going through some things in y'all lives that were definitely the motivating factor for wanting to start SkinTē. But would you say that also working for Nike, working for Spanx, working for these companies, did that kind of serve as any motivation or want to propel you into this entrepreneurial space? Did you recognize early on that you just weren't a nine to five, or it just wasn't for you? What was really that like, kind of having this background and then going on to start your own thing?
And that's an excellent question. I think I've always had a little bit the entrepreneurial bug because, kind of to your point, I mentioned these two great companies, but I've moved around a lot and I've done different things from IT to supply chain to strategy to brand. And I kept thinking something's a little bit weird with me, like why, I didn't have that linear path. And I think that only made sense because it made sense that all those things made me who I am today to be able to start a company. So I think part that it's been a part of me for a long time, but working with iconic brands like Nike, which is unbelievable, and in terms of how they really thought about the consumer and how they built a brand and how they built a community, that's a really big deal. And then Sarah Blakely's just absolutely phenomenal. I was honored to be able to work directly for her. And I always joke that Nike was my real life MBA, but Sarah Blakely was my inner MBA because she really taught me all the things it took internally to be an entrepreneur. So I would absolutely say that those stories help. But what was funny is I actually started the company and then decided to save money for it and went to work for Sarah. So sometimes you just think the universe or whoever puts certain people in your path, because I had started it and then I took a detour to save money and raise for the company, and I got to work for one of the best entrepreneurs. So in many ways, it was really just magical how that all panned out.
Absolutely. And I think that that's the beauty, once again, of how we talk. I've talked to a few, not even a few, a host of different people on here who have come and said the same thing, how, they
Yeah.
may have had to take in a detour or have had to take a step back from the business, maybe even put it on pause, maybe even stop and have to come back, rebrand, anything like that. I even more so recently talked to an episode where the name of the episode was Reset, Revamp, Rebrand. And she really talked about,
Yeah.
having just to really go through that process and how difficult that was. But once you have that vision, once you just have that motivation, once you have that drive, once you really want to do that, oh, it's hard, but you're still going to make it happen. You're still going to, and like you said, sometimes certain people are put in your life for a reason. Sometimes certain paths come our way. Sometimes we go through certain trials and tribulations. Yeah, we don't like it, but sometimes you need that, because it's setting you up for better. Because if you can handle this now, if you can kind of get through this now and deal with this now, well, just imagine what's going to come your way as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as the owner, as the co-founder of anything, just even as a
Absolutely.
nine to five, we deal with different problems. I deal with different issues and things in my job. Like, for instance, today, my manager called out. We're already a short staff team. So, I had to be okay with knowing how to run operations, knowing how to run the ship, knowing that, okay, she's not here to back me up. This building still has to run as usual. Nothing can really falter or take a step back or anything like that, because the people coming in don't know we're one man down today or one woman down today. And I don't want them to know that, in a sense, unless, they really ask or they talk about her. But essentially, as a business owner, entrepreneur, anything like that, you always have to recognize that everything's not always going to go your way. Sales are not always going to go your way. Branding is not always going to go your way. Even if
Absolutely.
you're a team of people, y'all may not even always see eye to eye, have the same ideals, and agree on certain things.
Right.
But you have to also recognize that, look, when you want something, when you're pushing a brand, when you're pushing a mission, a goal, when you're also pushing to other consumers, it's bigger than that. It's more than
I love that. Yeah, that's why I started with today's a good day because the highs are high and the lows are low. And you can't expect that just because one day, what the biggest learning I've had is staying steady because the one constant is change. So you're going to have to pivot. And by staying steady, I just mean emotionally, like, because you should enjoy the highs and celebrate that moment. But just know it doesn't mean that's it. That's how it's going to continue, which I naively used to think that way. Or if it's plummeting, I used to think, oh, this is going downhill, but it's actually up and down, and that's just the way it works. And the one constant is change, and especially since COVID hit, pivoting has become a skill set. And I think that the ability to pivot and to know that nothing is truly constant gives you power when you really think about what you want to develop is the skill to deal with that. And I think that makes you flexible and agile, and then you can face those things.
definitely could not have said that better myself. So before we actually get into, what we do, because I want to talk about the stores and getting into one store and really what that was like, I really want to start at the most core of the foundation, the name. Where did that come from?
Yeah, great question. So I have to back up a little into the why, like why we started it to go back into it. So I had stage 4 endometriosis, and I didn't know that my last couple of years at Nike, and I also had to get back surgery, and so I left the company even though they were incredible and were like, just take a leave. And my surgeon asked me to take a lot of collagen and to heal before, during, and after, and I didn't know a lot about collagen, so I started doing that, and as I was also taking a lot of herbs and teas. And I couldn't believe it that all my Nike friends would visit me and think I'd gone to a spa. I'm like, they're like, you don't look like you just had surgery. You're glowing. And I was like, wow, it was really my aha moment of the power of what you put in your body, the impact it has on how you look, and especially your skin. Your skin is often a reflection of your health. If you're super stressed, it can reflect in your skin. If you're taking things that cause a lot of inflammation. So the reason we came up with the name SkinTē, when I partnered with, actually I partnered with my doctor and her best friend who's a chef. And my naturopathic doctor, I had gone to her and said, "Hey, do you have options that are taste better? Because I've been doing pills, powders, and bone broth, and there's only so much of that I can take." And so she was like, "You know what? I have a recipe because I want to age gracefully." And my best friend Elizabeth, who has a culinary background, and I have been putting recipes with these wonderful herbs and teas and collagen that you can make at home for your skin, mood, and immunity. And I was like, okay. And so I would make them, and then I would be like, this takes too long. Can you just make it and I'll buy it from you? And it was funny because they were like, no. And then we got together and we decided, let's just start this company. It was a dream of ours. And the way the name came from is it's all about being comfortable with your own skin from the inside out. So it stood above just the aesthetic piece of it. When we did it, we've gone through so much as women, and men, I think, are the exact same way, where you go through these insecurities, you go through these times in your life where you're not comfortable in your own skin. And to us, the name has so much meaning. Not only that this is that tea is a vehicle for great skin, because our product generally, the base of it is herbs and teas, and then we add other things to make it taste great. And then it has the collagen. So we wanted to make sure that it was clear that we are the authority on skin. And tea is a vehicle, but we spelt tea in a specific way so that it wasn't so literal. And then the other reason skin's in the name is because of that idea of beauty is skin deep, and this idea of being comfortable in your own skin.
Wow, I love that
Yeah.
ending too. I definitely I'm always very intrigued by stories, just branding stories, just how people come together. Like you said, three different backgrounds, culinary,
Yes.
and then you
Yeah.
had the doctor, and then you have your expertise and just how
Yeah.
versed you are. That's amazing that y'all were able to come together
Thank
like
you.
that. So how has now just three different mindsets, three different heads coming together, three different lifestyles in a sense, but all one common denominator? How has that really been with running operations, with
Yeah.
promoting the brand, with, because like it does sound like everybody has a role, and essentially everybody contributed their own piece, but it also sounds like collectively y'all do a lot together, from just brainstorming to actually
Absolutely.
just testing out to being very intentional behind the product and the brand. So what is that really like with three women really running the operations of everything?
Yeah, it's so funny. We get asked that question a lot, and I think people are in shock that we're still friends and we're still so close. I would call it's like one of the best partnerships I've ever had, in a sense that the reason I think it worked, and people often ask me that, is because there was so much respect for each of our roles. No one wanted to be the CEO other than me. And even I didn't ask to be it, but I had the skill set to be the CEO. Dr. Amy Bader is a phenomenal doctor, and the last thing she wants is me talking to her patients. And Elizabeth is an amazing culinary expert. Last thing she wants is me in the kitchen. And they both don't want my job. So there was so much respect that we all kind of fell into it. I have to also say it's a strange thing to say because I think ego exists in everyone, but I would say there's a significant lack of ego between the three of us because we're not competing. We're really excited for the vision of this brand, and we all feel like we were a part of it. So we kind of fall into these roles without worrying about hierarchy, and we're the founders together. So even though I'm the CEO and Elizabeth's full time, I don't see myself as her boss. I see myself as her partner, and we all see each other as each other's partners. And what we've never wavered on, which is kind of freaky, is the vision. Like there's been times I'm like, maybe on branding, we might have been like, oh my God, I'm nervous about this direction or that. And then we all gel. It's probably one of the most, magical partnerships I've had because I've heard about a lot of terrible ones where somehow we all express our opinions. And I'm very vocal, and Amy and Elizabeth, and we're very different. And we sometimes we do get irritated. And then all of a sudden it just clicks and we come together and move on. And I think it's because we have the bigger vision of where this company needs to go and what it stands for and why we started it. So it's really worked for us.
I think the point that you made about ego is so important. It's so even if you're by yourself, ego will pride with for men, whatever we want to call it. It can make or break certain things, and sometimes having to put that pride to the side or having to dim that ego a little bit is hard for people. It's much easier
Yeah.
said than done, but it can be very crucial to operations, to branding, to promotion, to marketing. It can really be an essential piece to your business. And like you said, the fact that y'all all came in totally separate, but essentially recognize the power of collaboration, the power of being as a collective. I think that it speaks volumes because, like you said, even three. Because I was even curious too. Yeah, three women. That's a lot of that's a lot of personalities. That's a lot of just different. You get the attitude.
Are they having cat fights?
And not even an attitude from a perspective of just an angry thing, but you just get different attitudes. Your demeanor may be different from
Yeah.
Dr. Amy's demeanor, and vice versa. So I think that the fact that y'all were all able to still be in your respective, have your respective
Yeah.
expertise and knowledge and everything, but like you said, still gel and mesh. Man, that's amazing. And but I think it also speaks to just how determined y'all were to push this brand, just how much y'all believed in it. Y'all obviously loved it. Y'all were. I would even say y'all were almost test subjects for y'all own products because this were things
Yeah.
that were this were
100%.
things that y'all were facing. And like you said, we all want to age gracefully. I definitely want to age gracefully. I'm right there with y'all. But the fact that y'all were able to get that, set that goal, set that mindset, and then kind of still push that vision. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. So now, when originally coming into business, when making the product, once everything was kind of finalized in a sense, y'all had that first kind of thing that y'all wanted to debut. Was this always what was the vision for SkinTē at the time? Was this a product that y'all kind of just wanted to go in stores immediately? You wanted it to be a household name? Was this something where you wanted to be a website first? Was this something where you kind of just it was a pop-up shop and you were kind of just keeping it local? How did y'all really start to get
Yeah.
the word out?
It's funny. We started big. Like we were just like, we want to be the authority on health and beauty from the inside out. And I think it's because we came together at a time when we were all, I don't like to use the word broken, but we were all really dealing with major life challenges. And it's like you have nothing to lose once you've been there. You have anything. And so our vision was big. Our vision, when we clicked together and realized we want this brand to be about health and beauty from the inside out, and we want to help men and women and gender agnostic. We want everyone to feel good from the inside out. How do you do that? And so we packed our favorite ingredients into this one easy delivery mechanism, but we wanted it to be unapologetically beautiful. We saw that there's Red Bull and women would drink Red Bull and there's all that. And we were like, you know what? We want it to be sexy. We want it to be beautiful. We want it to look like a beauty product. We want men and women to love it. So we were the first brand to ever come with this stripe palette. And we've had other people try to copy us and it hasn't worked, but it really stood out, and it stood out in the beauty world. So ironically, we launched in the beauty world. We went to Indie Beauty Expo, which is a really known trade show in the beauty world where like Chanel shows up and SkinTē shows up, and here's a can showing up. Like it wasn't really done at the time, and we did it in 2018 and 2019, because in 2018 we went to Dallas and we had silver cans and a picture of the stripes, and we got such great reviews. It gave us the confidence to actually go out and launch in January of 2019. And our strategy that year was actually DTC. So we said, let's do this all online, and then let's do about 20% of our business in premium hotels and spas and gyms and fitness. Let's be where we think our consumer is going to want to find this, and where they shop. And it was a great strategy, but it was a difficult one to do because it's expensive, because it was so heavy as a liquid. And part of it is ignorance is bliss. Like we were so naive how hard beverage was going to be. And so in a way it was great. So we learned, and since 2019, it's been a year of pivots, because in 2019, we were all about, DTC was like 50% of our business, and the other 50% were these wonderful hotels and spas. And then COVID hit, and suddenly we got into retail. We're now in 4,800 stores, not counting the 1,000 we just got. So we'll be hitting almost 6,000 soon. But we're in 4,800 stores, but that started slowly in 2020. Thank you. And what we knew at the time was, okay, we're going to pivot, because with COVID, no one's going to go to hotels and spas, but there's still retail. We noticed grocery stores were still open, and we could use Instacart, and then we could do it online. And so we did that in 2020 and 2021. But now this year, we're actually going full circle in a big way. Now that things are opening up, we can't keep up with the requests from hotels and spas and fitness studios and hairstylists who all want this drink there, because they clearly see it as a way to drink your skincare, and it's a beauty product that really complements any skincare product out there. So it's been really cool in the to us for us to see how the brand's evolving with the consumer. But it was also really cool to see that we can be truly omni-channel. And we would have loved to just do DTC because we thought it was easier. But being omni-channel has been a huge benefit. We've had an opportunity to learn about all these channels, and we've had an opportunity to get to know the consumer and how they shop. So it's been a really great journey of pivots, I would say.
Amazing. That's but that is what it. While nobody predicted that, while nobody in a million years
Yeah,
would have thought this was going to happen. I think, like you said, the ability to pivot, the transition, it's crucial. It's key. It's not always. I talk to businesses who went out of business during the pandemic. Who were started during the pandemic and may have not started the way that they would like to. So maybe had to go into the reset mode or the self reflection.
right.
But the fact that like y'all said, y'all kept the brand, y'all kept the vision, y'all kept really everything in front of y'all. But it was just a matter of, okay, maybe we just got to shift over here. Maybe we just got to
Exactly.
shift back a little bit. I think the adjustment, that's important. Just as much as you want to be versatile, as much as you want to be like I spoke about that Swiss Army knife, you also want to be flexible. You also want to recognize that
Yes.
it can't always be, and that goes back to the point about the ego, my way or the highway. And especially
Right.
with when you're a one man show. So I speak a lot about me just running this podcast by myself, but I speak also a lot about the feedback that I enjoy. That I just want to talk to. I want to know everything about it. I want to know if you enjoyed this interview. I want to know if you didn't like the question. I want to know if you're listening to this and
Amazing.
something I could have done better. I want to know if when I'm promoting things, you're getting the message. If the flyers are good, if the events. I want to know everything because I recognize that I hold myself to a very high standard. I'm very hard on myself. This is partially what
Of
I went to
course.
school for, but I also recognize that it's not just about me. I'm on here to pay it forward for everyone else, for all business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives. Whatever you do that you're passionate about, I want people to also learn about it, whether they're passionate about it too, but just knowledge. I think knowledge is power. And whether you watch this interview or previous interviews and only take one thing from it, never shop a product, okay, fine. Or you watch this interview, you
Exactly.
shop some products, you make a new connection, partnership now. Who knows what SkinTē can do with other businesses and brands who've been on this podcast? Who knows how y'all can come together? I
Absolutely.
love the idea of what you said, drinking your skincare. I think that that's amazing because a lot of times I get overwhelmed with the mask and the serums and I got to do this first, but I got to wash my face first, and then I got to steam, and my pores
Totally.
are open, so I got to make sure. But if we can just stir this up and we can just take it back, I'm cool with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I love that you just said that because I'm a huge skin fanatic, but what I realized getting sick, the biggest realization I had is skin tea is my ground zero. It's my ground zero before any skincare. So it's and I always joke that it's my foundation, and it's like it's intentional because I like to say skin tea is my foundation literally because I'm not wearing foundation right now. But I love makeup. Like I like mascara and I like to wear lipstick, but that's my expression. And so what I don't want to have to do is to cover up my skin. It bothers me. And when I was younger and I had skin issues, I feel like it made it look worse. And so what I've learned is that, and the older I get, is that it's what you put in your body that's foundational, and that's what creates the canvas that then allows you to express yourself the way you want. And I love makeup. Look, it's helped me when in times when I've had blemishes. So I'm a huge supporter of all cosmetics and what people want to do to feel good. But for me in particular, it was by mistake I learned this. And I'm just very lazy. I like to walk out without any foundation on, and it's been great because I just drink skin tea for that aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all, they're simplifying the game right now. So I definitely think that y'all need to, out of those 6,000 plus stores that we talked about, I'm sure that y'all can find them somewhere. So, but I love that. So, and even still, in speaking about skin tea, you even talk more so of a future outlook of what's to come. I know we're about to end the year soon here. So,
Yeah.
is there anything would y'all say that there's like a I'm gonna call it in this case a skin tea bucket list? Are there just some things that y'all want to knock off the list? Are there just some things that maybe even some avenues or some industries that y'all want to kind of involve yourself in? Because, like you said, y'all have a lot of expertise from culinary, medical. I don't even know what title to put on you because I feel like you've just been in a little bit of everything. So, is there anything that you would say that y'all are looking to get for what you can disclose? Of course, I'm big on
Yeah, no,
let's
no, I love
let's
we're very like you curious and open to learning and all of that as a brand. And we're launching two new flavors. So we currently have four flavors in market. We're launching two new ones, peach mango and black raspberry. They're launching next week only exclusively on our website, and then they'll be on Amazon as well. But we're so excited because our two new flavors lean into the energy category, but in a really thoughtful way. They have 85 milligrams, which is about equal to a cup of coffee. So we are really excited to be partnering with fitness enthusiasts and gyms because it's a sweet spot. Some people love Celsius and the Red Bull, but some people get jitters. So because we are SkinTē, we're really focused on still hydrating your skin while you get that energy boost. So our formula is really hydrating because it has the collagen, it has salt in it, and it has tea, which is all more hydrating than water alone when combined with water and a liquid. So it's really exciting. And in terms of milestones, so there's this 1,000 stores that I'll be able to announce hopefully soon. We're very excited about that. It does put us in a new channel, like a new category, let's just say. And then we have a new product line launching next year that I also can't announce yet, but it won't be in the form of a can, which is really exciting. So yeah, we are definitely expanding because, like I said, from day one, our vision was to be a brand that created innovative products. And our number one focus was it needs to be convenient and it needs to focus on health and beauty from the inside out. That was our whole thing: convenient, delicious, health and beauty from the inside out. And so that's what we're focused on. So yeah, we're excited to end the year strong and go into next year. But we couldn't have done it without people like you that bring awareness, and all of our really loyal consumers that have been with us from day one. Because with COVID, we thought we were going to shut down a couple times and we didn't. So it's really the consumers that fight for you and that stay loyal and help you grow. So it means a lot.
And I'm going to emphasize that point just much more, just because I think that's so important. Just support comes in so many different forms, from word of mouth to just promotion to actually buying to
Yeah.
anything. Like, so the fact that in different because they don't know, sometimes behind closed doors, we in this interview, there are things that go on. Like you said, there are things you still have to work on. There are things that are in the
Yeah.
pipeline coming. There are things that are current, are short term, and there are long term, and everything. So a lot of times, the people don't realize the support is motivating. I tell people all the time that those words, I appreciate that. Like, I never take, I'm big on words, so I don't take any
Yeah.
of that for
Me
granted.
too.
How you use them, they're very I'm very strategic with that. People call me the grammar, I'm gonna call myself the grammar guardian, just because I'm big on correcting. I don't like grammatical
That's
errors,
awesome.
even in text. Like, if I understand we can be a little improper, but if I clearly know you meant this, but you said that, we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about that. But just people don't realize that words like that and just hearing that and just the message is powerful, because we are our worst critics. And whereas to y'all, I'm hearing peach mango, I'm hearing raspberry. I'm like, I love tea, so I don't drink coffee at all. So for me,
Oh,
this is right up
great.
my alley. Like, I need, I don't, because I'm not a Red Bull. I'm
You
not.
got to send me your
Yeah.
address. We'll send
So
you
it's
some.
just like I'm hearing that. I'm like, oh, this is. Let me, after we end this, let me get on that website. Let me figure out what's going on. I'm gonna be the first person to sign up for them. I need all of that, the notifications and everything. But
Awesome.
people don't realize that every day, just seeing that, just hearing that, just the love that's being shown, man, is so motivating for us, and it just keeps us wanting. It wants us. We want to
100%.
make more products. We want to give y'all more. We want to keep, we want to work on things for next year that I can't reveal right now. We want to get in new stores to put us not only in a new tier, but to hit new consumers so that they can love this just as much as y'all love it. Because
Right.
you never know who's going to take to your brand, who is going to be useful for, who has similar stories to you, who in the culinary industry may have been looking to incorporate something like this, who in medical could this really be helpful for, who just opened up their own practice or anything. The possibilities are so endless in the business ownership and entrepreneurial world that is very exciting. But something I want you to break down for me, because I'm not familiar
Sure.
with it. So I've heard of it, collagen. Okay. What
Yeah.
is that? Why is it so impactful? I know it's like a powder sometimes, but just give me like a collagen 101 for dummies. Like, what is
Sure.
that? Why did y'all choose that as one of, because I'm hearing, basically from what I'm hearing, it seems like a very vital and main ingredient within SkinTē. So why collagen? What are the effects? What can it be used for? And how did y'all kind of like incorporate it? I want to know everything. Yeah, I need to know it
Absolutely.
all.
I'll take you just a little bit further back in time. So collagen's not new. It's just the format that you're seeing it in is new. So we haven't done anything new in that sense, but the vehicle is really innovative. So in ancient times, they used to boil the whole animal. So you would get the bone. So when your grandma or whoever was in your family was boiling the entire chicken or the bone, they would get collagen from the bone and the skin. So collagen is basically an amino acid and it's the building blocks of your body. And there's 7 types of collagen, but it's not a lot of people think it's meat, but it actually is from the bones and the skin of animals. So I know there's a lot of controversy around that, but you don't kill the animal for the collagen, if that makes sense. It's usually actually the recyclable parts of it. So the remains, and that collagen goes into your body and it goes where it's needed most. It's like the glue that holds your body together. And that's why it's so important. So when I had back surgery, it really helped my skin, my nails, my joints. But more importantly, because I was in so much acute pain and recovery, it usually goes to where your body needs it the most. And then later it shows up in the other areas. So it's an amino acid that's broken down to its simplest form. Now, people can drink bone broth, which is the old traditional way of boil the bone and drink that. It's great for your gut health. So there's a lot of movement around that. Powders started to happen later because I think people didn't want to know where it was coming from. Just give it to me in a powder. And then they would mix that, and then there's pills. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to introduce a formula that was more than just collagen, because in your late 20s you start to lose collagen, and so you have to replenish it in order to get for it to be replenished. You have to consume it. But we also included herbs like horsetail, which is an herb that's used in the beauty world for skin, hair, and nails. It's very rich in silica. We included things like white tea and green tea, which inhibit the breakdown of collagen. So our formula is more than just the collagen alone, but collagen is such an essential part of it. And then what we've noticed in the industry is it's a lot of powders with a large quantity of collagen all at once. We felt like putting 3,000 milligrams was a great amount based on research. And it allows you to have, like, you don't want to have all of your vegetables in one setting. You want to have some at lunch and some at dinner, or you want to have some of your protein at different times of day if you're vegetarian, or if you're not. So for us, our philosophy was a little bit throughout the day is better than having it all at once. And that's how we based it.
Everything in moderation. I think that that's
Yeah,
important for sure, for sure. But
exactly.
okay, thank you for the because I didn't know that. Like I said, I'm more so. I just only really knew the powder and like the superfood and
Yeah.
aspect, and I thought it was all of that.
It's an actual protein. It's a type of
But no,
protein.
you took
Yeah.
me back to my chemistry days when you said amino acids and the building blocks. I was like, oh, it's coming. It's all good. It's coming back now. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. So no, but that makes a lot of sense. And I also think too, what that kind of showed me in your breakdown is that this was this was not just something where you just had to throw it together. This was some trial
Oh
and
gosh,
error.
no.
This was some, because y'all had to. Everybody's on top of that. Everybody's skin is
Yeah,
different. How everybody reacts to different things is different. Me
yeah,
personally, I have sensitive skin, so for
yeah,
me, like when I travel or come back different things and I know my diet is not the best, like you to your point again about what we put in our bodies, I start to feel it. I start getting the bumps
yeah.
and I'm realizing like, okay, well, where did I just do? Was I getting sleep out there? Was I eating properly? Was I hydrating properly? No.
Totally.
And as a result, here we go. I'm looking all crazy now, and now I gotta, But I also think that I can really tell that just from having a doctor on your team, from having a chef on your team, there was a lot of research that was put into this. There was a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
intentionality. You can't, especially with for what you're tackling, for what you're kind of going after. Oh, these are things where if people are not seeing results, if people don't feel as if it's working or it's helping, you're going to hear about it or you're going to know about
yeah.
it, or because there are a lot of just different debates and opinions about skincare. What works?
Oh, even about collagen, there's a
Yeah.
lot of debate, and our reputations are on the line. Like we had an opportunity to put a different type of collagen that was cheaper, that was a bit trendy. I'll just say it, like marine collagen, and it sounded better. People were like, "Let's do that," and it sounded sexy. But we were like, the reason we're not going to do it is because we wouldn't drink it, and the reason don't feel comfortable is we worry about the contamination in the oceans. So we went with a grass-fed, pasture-raised collagen that we felt was around for a very long time, and we could trust it. Not to say there aren't any great products with marine collagen, we just didn't feel good enough about it. And I think for me, I am the ultimate, myself and my two partners, test of collagen working. So there's controversy out there about pretty much anything you put out there. What we've always joked about and said is we're not marketing. We're like, we're the real deal here because we all had issues where we needed this to work for us. And then because it worked, we said, let's put it all in one easy format for others. And that's why it's really important, the research, because you have to look also at the right type of research, and the doctor has her reputation on the line. And we didn't just read a couple articles and say, let's do this. The ingredients in our can are actually tried and true ancient ingredients. It's really what's innovative is that we were the first to ever carbonate collagen. No one had ever done that in the industry. We're the very first to do it successfully. And it was game changing because people were like, wow, I can get my collagen, not get this chalky taste, and it's light and refreshing. That's really interesting because most of the time you have to be doing a protein shake or you have to put it in your coffee. And if you don't mix it really well, it'll clump. And we just didn't want any of that. So, we wanted to have the benefits, but also a very refreshing experience.
And that's cool because something you said at the very beginning of that previous answer was y'all didn't want to just take a shortcut or just take something that y'all didn't know the direct effects. pros and
Yeah.
cons to it. I feel like there are a lot of different companies out there that have a lot of products, have a lot of just different things. And they don't even use their own products. These higher ups or these people who are making
Right.
products, they're not even using their own stuff. Two,
Right.
they don't know what it's doing. Two, the
Yeah.
laboratory testing, animal, however you want to kind of give it. I think that there are a lot of just different things.
Yeah.
Something that kind of I think about still to this day, my mind was blown. I just found this out this year was the ingredients list is listed based off of the how much is in. So basically, the first ingredient means that it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
most, and I never knew that. And so
Like when you say sugar, it means that's the
that's
most.
the most. So when
That's
you
the
see,
heaviest.
so
Oh my
now
gosh.
I promise you, after that, and it was crazy because the woman who told me that was actually a woman who came on this podcast. So big thanks to her for that. But
Sure.
I promise you, after we ended that interview, I went home. I turned every
Oh yeah.
label over. I was just freaking out. Now I'm in the stores. I'm just looking at things like so.
100%.
I got to Google because I have no idea what that word is. And if the first 5 words are things that I don't know, it's just like, wow,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing,
Yeah.
what I'm putting in my body. I don't really realize that, these parabens, these sulfates, just these different things that I've been using all my life that have probably had all types of adverse effects on my skin, my pores, everything like that. Who knows? Even that's part of the reason why to this day I'm 3 years like pill free. Like I don't take Advil, Tylenol, any of
Yeah.
that.
Same.
Like unless
I love
so unless I've been to the so this year I had to get some surgery, so I did get medication on top of that. But I told them I don't want any payment. I told them just give me
that.
what.
100%. I'm really like that as well. That's
Yeah, so
funny.
just get what you. But I recognize that I just had to pay attention to my habits. Growing up, I suffered from migraines because I played football a lot, so I was out in the sun a lot. I was, contact, everything like that. But it was also because of my diet. Have I eaten? Have I eaten well balanced meals? Have I been eating throughout
Yeah.
the day? So nowadays, I barely get sick anymore. I'm gonna knock on wood for sure. But I'm gonna also say too that whenever I get a headache, whenever anything is coming on, I know, okay, I need to eat, or I need to hydrate,
Yeah.
or maybe I need some sleep, or maybe I'm exposed to too.
I love what you're saying because it's really the 80-20 rule, right? Like, what do you do 80% of the time is really what matters. And then what's funny is the solution is sometimes, oh, I just didn't have enough water, but no one wants to really think that way. You always want to make it bigger than it really is.
Man,
So
that's so crucial. So,
yeah.
okay, I'm very curious. I'm sure the people are curious. So, what do you currently have? You tease the products that are already coming. That'll be by the time this episode drops. These products will be out. So, what
Yeah.
can the
Yeah.
people when checking out the SkinTē website, when coming across you guys on the best ways to find you, which we'll also get into at the end? What can we expect? What can we see? What are the flavors? What do you guys have to offer? Because for me, like I said, I'm still thinking about the peach mango that you said.
I love it.
Probably gonna be
I'd say the best way to follow us is where we have great Instagram following at SkinTē, SKINT, and then sign up for our newsletter online because we're about to do some great deals for peach mango and black raspberry, especially with Black Friday coming along. So those aren't on the website yet, but they will be launching next Wednesday. So we're really excited. Right now, you'll see our current flavors, which are wonderful. We've got green tea grapefruit for those that like grapefruit, white tea ginger, hibiscus vanilla, and lemon lime. Two of those have no caffeine, and two of them have 30 milligrams, which is equal to about a cup of tea. But the new ones have the 85 milligrams of caffeine. And from taste tests we've done, it's insane. Like people are so excited about it. So I would definitely say sign up and check, and we're going to be giving out some great deals. And we do really fun giveaways with all sorts of brands, from food brands to skincare brands. So it's been really fun because we can cross over to so many categories. So I would definitely say follow us. And, we're in Sprouts nationwide. We're in HEB in Texas. We're at Walmart in 1,200 stores. We're with Stop and Shop. And so we're with a lot of stores, the 4,800. And then we're launching, like I said, 1,000 stores soon. So Publix, we're with Publix in certain stores as well. So it's been an amazing, fun ride, but you can always count on us, on Amazon and on our own website where all of them are
So
available.
the timeliness of this interview. So I actually have some errands to run when I get done. And, Walmart was actually one of them, and
Yeah.
Publix was too. So I'm gonna do some looking tonight, and I'm gonna definitely.
Where do you live?
So I'm in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You should
So
hopefully
and I know we have a Sprouts out here too. Sometimes they're a little too fancy for me though. So I
too
gotta pick and
fancy.
choose when I want to go to Sprouts from. Like, I gotta really set aside because I will be in there for hours. I tell people that
Totally.
my first time ever going to Trader Joe's was this year, and when I tell y'all, they were probably mad at me in there. I was holding up the line. I'm in the reading everything, and just I was like a kid in the candy store, but I was like, wow, I love this. Like
There's so many products. It's
literally.
crazy.
And then I came to find out that I literally could not have gone at a more worse time. I went on a Saturday afternoon for my
Oh, my
first time.
gosh.
So yeah, so it was very exciting, but it was also like wow. I never come
Overwhelming.
back during these hours. But it was cool just to see, everything that was going on. But I love just the growth with y'all and just how, like you said, it's not really linear. You have to take everything as it comes, the good with the bad. You have to
Yeah.
appreciate it all. It's really all a part of the process. So I think that that's so dope. I'm encouraged.
And our branding really, when we developed this, we were really focused on, oh my gosh, these shelves, how are we going to stand out? It's one of the most crowded industries. Like, so your branding really has to pop. So people now are always like, oh, I saw your stripes. I saw your stripes. And it always makes me happy. And they're like, your stripes make me happy. And, they really, when you see them on shelf, there's no other brand that's got these stripes. And so it really helps for it to pop because it's overwhelming.
I like that. It's always about daring to be different. I love
Yeah,
every bit of that. So before we officially close this out, I'm actually going to have you run through your Instagram and everything one more time. But before we get into
sure.
that, is there anything that you feel like we haven't touched on today? Anything that you want the people to know about SkinTē, about the team, about what's going on? Any even messages or last words that you want to leave for other business owners, entrepreneurs, even people out there who may be facing similar issues as you and your team as to why you guys kind of got started and anything along those
Thank
lines?
you for that opportunity. What I would say to everyone is we're honored to have a product that people can purchase, but it's not just about product and the money. We really developed this from the heart, and I think our stories are reflected in all of America. Someone's lost someone, someone's gotten sick, someone's broken up in a relationship, and that's what the essence of this brand is. And I think this idea of really starting on the inside, health and beauty really starts with you. Is really it sounds really cheesy, but you've got to be kind to yourself and love yourself. And when it comes to starting a business, I think you really need to believe more than anybody else will ever believe. And, as three women in a really tough beverage industry, we believed more than anyone. And what keeps us every single day when I get up and hear a great email from someone who's like, oh my God, your drink got me through this. Because one thing I haven't mentioned is we have hawthornberry in our drink, which was an herb used in ancient times to heal a broken heart. And in modern medicine, it's used for anxiety. So a lot of people come to me and say, why do I just feel happy when I drink this? That was our love to the consumer. We want you to feel that love, that self-love. So I think for anyone starting out, remember, for us, we had to raise a lot of money. It's a capital intensive industry. Less than 2% of women get VC funding, and even less if you're African American women. So it's a really, really tough industry. And we've been through a roller coaster, but we never wavered on our belief in ourselves. And I think that would be my message to everyone, regardless of what they're doing, starting a company or something else. I can't emphasize that enough. And then the energy, the months where my energy was down and I was feeling it and I was giving off that that negative energy, things went like this. The minute I woke up and said, you know what, it's about the journey. I'm going to enjoy this. Things went like this. And I was like, I had to literally reflect on those times, how important the energy you give off impacts your results in a business environment, which it's really sounds woo, but it's true. So now I'm not like all happy and no matter what happens and fake, but I do have like a belief, and it keeps me in the right energy space. And I think that's really important for people watching as well.
That's a gem. You dropped a lot of gems today, but I love that one. And I think it
Thank
could
you.
not have come more perfectly timed. And I think but that's so just important. Just sometimes, just as simple as a message may sound, or even as cliche to some people as it may sound, uh, a lot of the podcast themes and messages and mantras, they're so universal here, but they're just said differently or experienced differently or illustrated differently. But essentially, they all kind of umbrella under the same thing. And I think that
Yeah.
that really goes to show that the proof is there. The proof is in the SkinTē in this case. Like
Yeah.
you're going
I
to let
love
you
that.
know that look, these were women who may not have always recognized what they were getting themselves into, who may have, went in even a little bit over their heads. But
Yeah. Way
even with
overhead.
recognizing that, even with getting humbled, even with, having some pros and cons, having to take some steps back, doing some reflection, they're still here. And look at them. Imagine now, because I know y'all think about it too, because I think about it all the time. I've been doing this podcast since 2019. But what if I stopped in 2019? What if I
Yeah.
stopped in 2020? What if I stopped last year? What if I stopped earlier this year? What if I stopped after you never really know. You would have stopped last year, 6,000 stores just gone just like that. You would have stopped last year, you wouldn't be getting these emails and you wouldn't be getting these testimonials as to how you were changing people's lives. So I take my hat off, my imaginary hat,
Thank
to y'all in
you.
space because I think that that's so amazing. I think that, like you said, in a very intensive, not for you industry, y'all really made it happen and y'all still continue to make a statement. And it's amazing. It's just hearing this product, just hearing what y'all do, just hearing what y'all tackling in the spin that y'all put on skincare. I think it's impressive. I think it's creative. And I'm excited. Like I said, peach mango, that's about to have my heart in a minute. So I thank y'all so much, man. Bassima, I
Thank
cannot
you.
thank you enough for, coming on here for really one, sharing your story, opening it up to your platform with us, but also, one, leaving some words of encouragement, even just giving people something to look forward to, whether they look at the products, whether they shop, whether they pay. This may even make people now just want to be more cognizant of their skin, because sometimes, we know we're not always taking the best care of things, but, if we don't see anything actively, we'll just think everything is okay. But little do you know,
Right.
there's so much just sitting underneath. And if you go maybe get
Yeah.
a facial or go to the spa or something like that, who knows how much, grit, grind, dirt. We go through days and just outside, just wind, just air, just dust, everything. Especially in Florida, there's all types of stuff flying around here. You never really know what's going on. So I think this may even make people more aware and just more, like I said, even cognizant about what they're doing, maybe routines. And now that you're simplifying it and putting it in a drink, in a noticeable drink with the stripes too at that, and all the marketing, come on, we got to make that happen. So I'm
Yes.
definitely, extending my support. Down to Business Podcast is here all the way. We will definitely do anything we can to continue to promote, to continue to help. I appreciate you, like I said, hopping on here, really giving us the inside out. I'm very much looking forward to what you have coming, for what you've revealed already. Thank you, and congratulations to you and your fellow teammates as well. And to
Thank
everyone else out there, I thank y'all, man. I love y'all. I definitely do appreciate everything that y'all continue to do for the podcast, all of the motivation. Like I said, we got that live event coming up. We ending the year with a bang. I might even have some SkinTē there to give away now that I
We would love that.
trying to give
That is
every and any brand that I can at this live event. I want it there for sure. So we're definitely going to talk offline about that. But to everybody, like I said, who continues to motivate me, who continues to make this happen, I'm here because of y'all. I'm in this studio right now because of y'all. And I just, I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm definitely looking forward to next year and just so much that we have planned and just how we continue to grow. We're celebrating our 3-year anniversary this month. So it's just amazing, man. So to everybody out there who continues to support, who continues to tap in, thank you. This has been another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner.